Today on the channel, we're going to talk about 5 things that can absolutely kill your channel. It'll prevent watch time. It'll prevent people from clicking on your channel. It'll prevent people from coming to your channel, and your channel will just die on the vine. So hang around. Here we go. Hey, I'm Ren Ramsey, and I am here to help you grow your channel. If you're 40, 50, 60, and plus years old, my desire is to help you get the most out of YouTube, maybe even go on to bigger and greater things and make a little bit of income out of it, maybe a lot of income out of it. Let's go ahead and dive right into today's subject. So the first thing is that you need to know is a little bit about the algorithm. Not going to do a deep dive on the algorithm today, but you need to understand a little bit about the algorithm. So the algorithm's job is to get people to come to your channel. Your job is to get them to stay on your channel and to stay on your video. And so how does the algorithm do that? Well, the algorithm is going to match up people out there with what their viewing habits are with what your channel is all about. So it's got to know what your channel is all about. And it does that in several ways. It's going to do that by looking at all the data that's in your channel. It's going to look at things like, what are the captions? What do they read? What is the description? What is the title in your video? What are other people coming to watch your channel? How long are they staying on your channel? What do they typically like? So it's all those things. It's just a lot of data that it's crunching to bring people to your channel. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing is you've got to have a reason out there for somebody to click on your channel. And the first thing that people see is your thumbnail. So if you're just letting YouTube pick your thumbnail from one of the screenshots, that is instant death. You're not going to have anybody coming to your channel. You're going to have to spend a little bit of time, and it don't take much time. It can maybe take a few minutes, but you've got to create some type of thumbnail to where people will look at that, click on it because it piques their interest. It does something to maybe spark emotion, spark curiosity in it, but they need to look at that and go, I need to go to that channel and look at it. And right below that is your title as well. And we're going to talk about how the title and the thumbnail go together here in just a minute. So most mentors and creators out there on YouTube that are anybody that's telling you how to do better on YouTube, what they'll tell you is that you need to come up with your thumbnail first before you ever do the video. Your thumbnail really needs to be kind of the basis of what you're doing your video on. Now, I'm not quite there yet. I still do my thumbnail after I do my video. My video ideas come to me, and I produce a script for those. And I'll even go so far as to upload them, then create a thumbnail. But that is not best practice. You really need to have that thumbnail beforehand. But that is what some of the gurus will tell you out there. Now, you've got to think of your thumbnail and your title as a package. So they're going to see your title directly up underneath your thumbnail, and both of those have to go together. They should not be the exact same thing. So your thumbnail can't be so wordy and have so many words on it that they can't see anything. It's just so convoluted and so crammed in there that they can't tell what the thumbnail is. It's, as my parents would call, busy. My dad would call it, it's a busy thumbnail. Well, if it's a busy thumbnail, people are not going to click on it because it hurts their eyes to look on it. They need to mentally be able to look at it very quickly in a snap minute and their brain say, yep, click on that. They shouldn't have to read a lot of stuff on your thumbnail. So a lot of thumbnails have no words on them. They just have symbols. And then other people will tell you that your thumbnails at most need to have 3 or 4 words on them. Less is more in the case of a thumbnail. So make a thumbnail that sticks out above everything else that is being shown to a viewer, possible viewer, but also it needs to be something that goes along with your title. And so your title, whereas it doesn't have the need to have the same words as your thumbnail, the title needs to be something that sparks emotion or that sparks curiosity in somebody. So you need to have a title that also draws them in. So the first thing they're going to see is your thumbnail on their thumbnail shelf that comes up on their homepage. And as soon as that comes up, then the next thing they're going to do is immediately look at the title to see if that title is something they're interested in. If it's just a title of My Day at the Beach, people are really not interested in that. Most people are really not interested in that. People are they're interested in what kind of problem is this solving. Now, people come to YouTube for information and for entertainment. There's no reason why you can't have both, but most people come to it for information. So they want to know, what kind of problem is this going to solve that I have? And then your title also needs to be relatively short, maybe 50 to 60 characters. I think it lets you put like 100 or more characters there, but don't put that many characters there. One reason is because a lot of people look at YouTube on their phones, and their phones only give them like the first 25 to 50 characters, depending on the size of the phone and what way they got their phone turned. But you don't want to have a lot of characters in your title, and you want to have the meat of your title at the beginning of the title, because if any portion is going to be cut off, it's going to be at the end. And if it's cut off and the main point of your title and what you're trying to get the people to come to your video and to click on it, and it's all about clicks, then if it's at the end, it may not make it on their device, and then therefore they may not click on that. So have as much as that at the beginning. Certainly the part that's going to be intriguing or make them curious or make them emotional, that needs to be at the beginning. But your thumbnail and your title should be considered a package deal. And then the next part of your package is your hook. So the first 30 seconds of YouTube of somebody watching your channel are the most important. It's not unusual for people to immediately click off, but you're kind of shooting for somewhere around 60 to 70% retainage past the 30-second mark. Now, you're going to see people that are dropping off on your YouTube channel throughout the whole course of the video. And in the end, you may only have 30% watching the last part of your video. And that's okay, because those are the people that are part of your core audience and will keep coming back time and time again and keep commenting. But you really want to keep people on there. You want to have an engaging video where it keeps people on your channel throughout the whole course. But the first 30 seconds is the most important. So if you get a drop off of 70% in the first 30 seconds, in other words, you only got 30% of the people watching your video, that's going to be a problem for you. So your hook has to be something that keeps their curiosity, that keeps them staying on your channel. I have seen channels that don't have hooks at all. They start out with words. They start out with it used to be a couple years ago, they would have an intro shot of music and quick flashing different images and stuff like that, introducing you to their channel. That has gone by the wayside, and that is not what people want to see anymore. And it needs to be some type of verbal hook where somebody is talking to you, the viewer out there, or you're talking to the viewer out there, and you're telling them, this is what you are going to get out of my video today. This is the problem that I'm solving for you today. Here's the quick 1 or 2, 3 ways I'm going to solve it, and let's get to it. And so the intros of the day, where you had intros and music playing, for 30 seconds or a minute, those have gone by the wayside, and they're really not something that ought to be used anymore, because people will click off of it. A entrance of the beginning of your video showing something flying over a cliff or walking through a field or something with no words, that's going to cause people to click off of it. Doesn't matter what pretty music you got behind it. People are coming to it because they want a problem solved, and it ain't going to be solved with pretty views and pretty words and pretty music. Maybe pretty words, but not pretty music. So you need to think about your hook and what your hook is for that particular video. Because remember, while people aren't spending any money on YouTube to come and watch you, and there are people that do spend money to have YouTube that doesn't have any commercials, but for the most part, most people don't spend any money for YouTube. But what they are spending is their time, and that is a finite commodity, and you cannot earn back more time. You can always lose money and then go out there and earn money, but any time you lose is lost for good, and that's a sure bet to get somebody never to come back to your channel again, is to not be cognizant of their time and that commodity that you're giving them by watching that. So we're going to hit number 4. So before we get to number 4, I'm going to give you what you need to be doing on your channels, and that's a call to action. So I'm going to ask you to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell, and I'm going to ask you to give me a like or a thumbs up. Looks like a thumbs up, but it's actually called a like. I'm going to ask you to like this channel. And the reason is because both of those help drive the algorithm, help drive people to this channel. The algorithm will see that people like it, that they're subscribing to it, and so they will push this channel out there to other people to see if they like it. And so if you got a call to action and people actually do like your channel, they hit that thumbs up, they hit that subscribe, then that helps you out. And so I'm asking you to do that for me. And then the other thing is comments. I think the algorithm likes comments as well, but I really like comments because I want to know what it is, what problem do you need solved with your channel? What is it that is an issue for you that you feel like you can't grow? So leave a comment down below. I always answer my comments. I'm going to try to answer some of those specific questions, specific problems you have, but leave that down below. Now, number 4 is you have to deliver. So you've created a thumbnail that draws their curiosity in. You got a title that keeps their curiosity there. And now you've got a hook that keeps them past the 30-second mark and keeps them watching. You've got to deliver. So whatever you're telling them, whatever promises you make in your hook and in your title, you've got to fulfill that. So you got to make sure that you do that. And one of the ways you do that is you just got to be genuine. So you got to deliver by doing your research. You got to deliver by also knowing your subject matter. So most people don't start a channel on something they don't know anything about. So I don't know a thing in the world about cake baking. So I would not have a cake baking channel. Just not going to have it because I don't know how to do it. I just dump it out of a box and go get the frosting out of a can. If that's the way I'm going to do it, and I'm not, because that's a bunch of processed food, too much sugar for me. But the point is that you cannot have a channel about something you don't know, because that's not genuine and people will see through that. So all the research in the world, you're not going to be able to fake it till you make it on something like that. So your channel needs to be about something you have at least a smattering of information about. And remember, you don't have to be an expert about it. You don't have to have a multi-degrees in what your channel's about. You just have to be a little further ahead than the general public out there, because they're coming to you to seek your knowledge of what you've got. And not only seek your knowledge, you have a special knowledge in that it is knowledge that you have gained through your own experiences. So they want to see what your experiences are and what you've learned from that. Everybody's experiences are going to be different. Your experiences are different than my experiences and different than somebody else's experience. And so we can all learn from each other. And so that's why they're going to come to your channel. And then they very well may go to another channel that's about the same subject matter, but the other person has different experiences. And so we're going to learn from each other's experiences. So make sure that you're genuine, that you're not trying to copy somebody else. You can maybe copy their subject matter, maybe even copy some of their points. But if you just completely plagiarize it, then people will know that, and that is not being genuine. And then number 5 is niching down. So what is a niche? Well, we're not going to get really deep into niching down, but basically a niche is the subject matter of your video and of your channel. So it's a good idea that you have the same kind of general information coming out of your channel each and every week. So on this channel right here, I'm all about helping the 40, 50, and 60-year-old plus crowd get on YouTube, create a YouTube channel, and grow on YouTube. So you can expect to come back and see that same subject matter every single week. On my other channel, Ramdino Hiking the Trails, that's all about hiking in the Appalachian Trail. And so people come to that. That's my community that I've built over there, and that is all about hiking. And so people come to that channel specifically to learn about hiking and learn about what's going on the Appalachian Trail and being part of the hiker community. Even if they're not hikers, there's a lot of people over there that can't hike because they physically can't get out there. Or the Appalachian Trails on the East Coast, they're on the West Coast. So they want, they can't be here on the East Coast, but they come to there to find out what's going on the Appalachian Trail here on the East Coast. So that is the community that I've built and that I have so much enjoyed over there. And so that's what you want to build, is a community where people come to your channel for a specific reason. There are channels out there that are just about the day in the life of somebody, and that's neat. But those channels are never going to blow up because they're just so random. It's not really a niche, so to speak. People are not going to come back time and time again. They're not going to be just on bended knee waiting for you to put out another video about what you did today. That's just not how it works. That's not information. Some people find that entertaining, and that's fine, but that's a very, very small group of people that will find that. And if that's what that satisfies you and you're okay with a small channel like that, hey, more power to you. There's not a thing in the world that says you got to be a big, huge channel. But the bigger your channel, and if you're here as a side income or retirement income or anything other than a depository or creating a small community, then you're going to have to niche down in order to do that. So you've got to solve a problem for people. They have to come to your channel because they have a problem. And YouTube is the second largest search engine there is. Second largest search engine online. The first being Google. And guess what? Google owns YouTube. So when you do a Google search, it is actually going out there and looking at YouTube to go out there and try to find the information that you are seeking. So if you can indicate to people what the problem is you're solving and put that down in words so that the algorithm can find that and can send people to you, then your channel will grow. And your thumbnail will wind up on the thumbnail shelf of somebody's homepage. They will see it. You've created a great thumbnail. Eyes will immediately go down and see the title. The title intrigues them. And now you have earned that click, and they'll click on it. And as soon as they do, the first 30 seconds play, and you've hooked them in, and now they're watching 50%, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% of your video. And so that is how it is done on YouTube. So those are the 5 things that are going to get you more clicks, more views, and more watch time. Now, if your channel has a lot of stuff that it needs to change, don't try to change it all at one time. As Mr. Beast, who is one of the most popular, has millions of viewers, millions of subscribers, one of the most popular on YouTube there is out there, Mr. Beast says, hey, just make each video 1% better than the next. So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Don't try to make all these huge changes at one time. You'll just be chasing your tail, and you'll be frustrated. And so you want to make changes a little bit at a time, but do make the changes that it takes to earn that click and earn those folks to stay there on that watch time, and earn them to go down and hit the subscribe bell. And the other thing that you need to work on, once you get the thumbnail and the title and the hook squared away, and that is your search engine optimization, your SEO. We're going to talk about that in some upcoming videos. But for the time being, go and check this video out over here. It's going to talk to you all about the tech that you're going to need to get into YouTube and to get your first video uploaded. Folks, that's all I've got for this video. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.